What's an immediate red flag when trying to make friends? If one of the first conversation you have with people ends up with them bad-mouthing their other friends, I'd keep my distance, because you know deep down that they will talk like that about you too. Mind if I smoke? Then they pull out a meth pipe. They hit you up and act all friendly, make tentative plans, then immediately ask for something. They don't ask you any questions about you but will talk about themselves all day long. Someone who's always sees themselves as the victim even when they're in the wrong. If someone only ever talks about themselves, never asks how you're doing, that's a one-way street I have no interest walking down. If you feel like you have to change yourself to get along with them. Anyone else reading the comments primarily to see if you could someone else's red flag? When they talk at you, not with you. When they keep trying to top you, oh yeah, well I did this. Asking to borrow money. Instantly wanna spend time with me 24/7 and gets offended and takes it personally if I can't hang out or simply don't want to. Unprovoked passive aggression. When people only talk and hang out with you when they need something from you. If the person rants and raves about politics and doesn't discuss anything else, ever. When you don't like them, I swear people miss this one all the time. Don't take advice from people on Reddit regarding making friends. Most of them aren't great at making friends. That's why they're here. Take advice from people who's not a Redditor. Completely negative and complains. My neighbor's been trying to get to know me and he does nothing but complain about things and people. It's hard to try to get to know them when I bring up any topic or common person and it's nothing but complaints. Getting super close really quick is a red flag for me. The last time that happened I was the rebound and the person only befriended me in spite of their ex-BFF. For me, as a gay man, it's when a girl makes a comment about needing a gay best friend, or says something like gay people are so funny or clearly starts to treat me differently, in a superficial way, when they find out I'm gay. It makes me immediately see them as shallow and I feel like I'm being used as an accessory. I feel like this might be more of a high school thing, but when I started becoming friends with more popular people and they thought making fun of my old friends or other unpopular friends was a good way to bond. Someone who always tries to one-up you in experiences. Someone who constantly talks about how they suffer from so-and-so mental disorder and uses that as their excuse to act the way they do. I am fully supportive of any mental disorder and have full sympathy and support of anyone suffering from mental disorders. This is purely personal experience. Somebody willing to be my friend. Don't have time for those with poor judgment. How obsessed they are with social media. I understand if maybe you are cause it's your business or whatever. But PPL obsessed with social media are most likely stuck in a high school mindset and are always involved in petty drama. Overt clinginess from the start. I just usually only get along with guys. People who can't take a joke or get triggered over the small things. Whenever I meet someone and we are eating at a restaurant I pay close attention at how they treat the waiters and whoever might be providing a service. If you treat every human being the same way you treat me, I at least know you're not faking it. If they're constantly talking it about other people. 1. Someone not remembering my name after being told a couple times. 2. Bad talking other friends of theirs. When you are always the one to call or text, I will reach out to friends and if I stop for a couple of weeks and they never text me then I know it's not a real friendship. I was lab partners with a woman from Belize before schools closed. Initially, she was very friendly and warm and quickly invited me to visit her hometown in Belize and told me how they would welcome me and my husband and all the things we would go and see. I was thinking, whoa Nelly, we've only known each other a few weeks but was nonetheless appreciative of her warm and welcoming nature. During our breaks, she'd often try and buy me coffees and share her food with me even though I didn't need it. We switched to Zoom meetings and online work but maintained our lab groups from class. Within the first 2 weeks of online labs she threatened her 6-year-old twice that he was going to get a beating and often marched out of her room screaming at him during our video calls. Then she threatened to beat me with her belt over her knee because I hadn't finished some work that was due a week from then. For the record, I'm a 29-year-old woman. For a multitude of reasons, I ended up getting permission from my professor to finish the labs on my own. Turns out that overly warm vibe has a nasty flip side. When the person doesn't care about you. Happy cake day. Is it a red flag if a person I just met immediately acts like we've been friends for years? When you make a friendly joke and they get mad and try to hit you. If they trash talk their other friends behind their back with you, it doesn't mean that they trust you and want to enhance that you are a better friend. It means they will trash talk you with those friends behind your back too, and probably already have. When you have to carry the conversation. You catch them lying, or changing their story as they tell it from person to person. Always a sign that they are perpetual liars. When someone says we should totally do something later then never makes an effort to make it happen. A one-upper. You don't always need the best story, the worst story, the most anything story. It makes friendships hard cause they don't need to be a constant competition. Oversharing. Sharing too much too fast. Like, haha, I like raspberries too. Anyways, when I was 4 my dad killed my mom. They may be using you for emotional labor, or as a crutch. And either way it's likely not good for you to commit yourself to that person. Important to set and maintain boundaries, kids. Non-stop talking about their own stories. Friendship is effort. No amount of I'm introverted or I'm busy all the time replaces that. You have time and energy for a few friends. Choose them wisely and be vocal about relationships. It's fine having a lot of acquaintances. It's not to keep on trying. I don't like that word. Don't say that word. Mood swings. Walking on eggshells so as not to make them angry. When she keeps ignoring you or keeps treating you like shit. I've been like that and got almost no friends. Someone immediately telling you their entire life story. Big red flag. Not a teetotaler by any means, but meeting someone for the first time who is can't handle myself drunk is generally a pretty bad sign for me. And for clarity, I define that level of drunk as being violent, belligerent, or just way too reckless. Someone who is always complaining about something, even if it seems like it's no big deal. Someone who is always shooting down invites activities and doesn't reach out to invite or share their activities. Someone who tries to make all the plans, all the time, and isn't open to suggestions. Someone who only calls once to hang out when all their other friends are busy. Someone who talks down to others. Someone who gets offended if I don't answer the phone, or reply to a text immediately. When they do or say something extremely racist and say I'm not racist but, the same with gay people, I'm not homophobic but, or when they say I can't be racist, homophobic because I am. Anything along those lines are giant red flags. How they talk about the genders. Oh, and when they have to tell you but I'm a nice. My grandfather always told us if a person has to tell you what they are or start a sentence with I'm not, but then you know they are the exact opposite. Flakiness. If you cancel our first plans together, that's a big red flag, barring an actual emergency, of course. 2 cancelled plans in the early stages of friendship equals I'm no longer interested in putting effort into getting this thing off the ground. 1. Always being the victim in their own stories. 2. Acting too close for new acquaintances and telling you uncomfortably personal stuff unprompted, usually despite attempts to get them to stop. 3. Proclaiming their views, religion, politics, values, way too enthusiastically and firmly convinced that they are right. Who else going through the comments to see how they can improve themselves? Cancer jokes, disaster jokes, poverty jokes, jabs at people who have it worse. I'm an adult and would like adult friends. I'm not offended. It just indicates we're on a different wavelength. When someone immediately goes into their religion or other all-consuming thing, it's massively scary to be in a conversation with someone who unleashes all their crazy up front, who can't recognize when you're uncomfortable. And this is coming from an autistic person who has dumped on people before. Even I know not to unload all of my most controversial beliefs on someone right out of the starting gate. If you do that, you're just completely unhinged. Someone that constantly asks questions about what you do for a living, and if you're happy with your job, you'll be about 5 more questions away from a perfect opportunity from your new MLM buddy. When they want to hang out every day from day one, they are clingy or feel more for you than friendship. You get very tired of it after a few days, and then JT's not easy getting more distance. If they're being a D to someone, them treating you like their personal therapist, it's completely fine to vent and all, but your friends have emotions and issues too. Had a super close friend for 2 years who basically refused to get any help for her self-harm and suicidal thoughts because why talk to a therapist when I have friends like you? Tried my best to help her, but the friendship was overall really bad for my mental health. If they ask for money when they barely know you, they don't take no for an answer or respect your boundaries. That and when they mock you for something you like, enjoy turning every situation so they are the victim. Racism, they start making jokes about skin color and other it like that, and I'm out. Hard drugs. I didn't care when I was younger in my 20s and I partied too. But if I'm out now with people now, I'm 36, and someone mentions needing to do or going to get some hard drugs, I just roll my eyes and distance myself. When they ask you if you want to be best friends and you're 34, if they're anything like me, that's a red flag. The giant USSR flag hanging right in front of you as you enter their apartment. 1. Amanda Knox JK. 2. Someone who's always right and never apologizes. Who registered sign. 3. Someone who never invites you to their events even though you're considered friends, and is egocentric when you hang out. Who registered sign. 4. Jealous people. Who registered sign. 5. People who gossip. The moment you leave the room they'll be gossiping about you too. Who registered sign. 6. People who don't uplift you. And people who degrade you. Who registered sign. I'm sure there's more, but these are my essentials. If they get mad, upset, hurt because you didn't like their social media post or because you liked someone else's but not theirs. They lost all or most of their past friends because they were bullying. Same thing as my exes were crazy. Run like hell. You need to use our rules. Never do that. Friendship is not a duck-eyeing side quest. Spouting conspiracy theories. That happens. I leave a vapor trail. People who seem like they're just waiting for you to be done talking so that they can talk. Like you get done, then they say something that's kind of related, but more just to make the conversation about themselves. It feels like two people talking near each other, but not with each other. If they're gossiping a lot and speaking negatively about their other friends, while it's healthy to work through interpersonal issues with peers, there is a line. If their stories portray everyone else being unfair and irrational, they either have very poor taste and social skills or are lying. Ladies with guy friends, if he says he respects your relationship but, if you are single, if he has no other platonic healthy friendships with women, if he has a girlfriend that doesn't know you exist, if he only wants to hang out with you alone, don't even bother. He doesn't want to be your friend. Massive one is if they say after only knowing you for a short time that you're their best friend. Run. Everything that they do is the coolest it ever, and everything that you do is meh. For girls at least, I don't really get along with girls. If you can't get along with 50% of the population, it's definitely you. Ellie to look better and his wife calls you to find out who he's talking to over the phone. When they think they can choose who you are friends with and not. When you become their therapist, venting and talking about mental health is okay, but if that is all they talk about to you, then that's not healthy for either of you.